Hello, everyone. We are here to talk about the enhancements to 15.9.1, specifically the third level sub-object that's now included in the modern UX. So starting 15.9.1, modern UX will now support third level object. The third level object will be supported in the common component functionality, and the data in the third level object will also support field level security. This is important because we have several of our customers that have created 3 levels of sub-objects, essentially to track specific type of information. Up till now, in the past releases of Clarity, we only supported the top 2 levels, but the third level was not available in the modern UX, and that was a limitation for several of our customers. So starting 15.9.1, we now have made it possible to view, edit, modify the data for the third level sub-object. The way the third level sub-object is available is in the grid layout. You have the third level object available to the following objects: the project, idea, custom investment types, and custom object. The third level object, once API enabled, will then be available in the modern UX. So you have to make sure that the third level object is API enabled. So that's a setting that now we have exposed in the studio. The third level object are displayed once the second level parent object is added to the blueprint for that investment. So in my example right here, I'm in funding source, which is the topmost custom object. Under there, I have a sub-object called funding, which is where I can see all my information. And then when I select the funding in the flyout, I see the tab for my third level object, which shows me my transactions. So that's how I can see the third level for my custom object. Users can configure the columns and views that they want to see by opening this third level by clicking on the expand button. Once you click on the expand button, the third level object is then displayed in its own modular where all the common grid functionality is available, such as the export to CSV, filter for specific data, defining its own layout and views, the different columns, as well as its own flyout. We've also enhanced the field level security to now support the second and third level object attributes. The field level security will work the same as other field level security for other objects. The access right is assigned to user groups only, and attributes can be secured for either no access, view only access, or view and edit rights. With that, let's go into the demo for seeing how the third level object is available. So first, I'm going to go into my 15.9.1 administration. I'm going to go into my objects, and I'm going to show the 3 level objects that I have defined. I have funding source as the topmost object. Then I have funding, which is a second object to my funding source. And then I have defined transaction, which is under funding. So that's my 3 level. If I go into my third level, the first change you will see is that this is API enabled, and I have an API attribute ID populated for this. For any existing ones, customers have to make sure that they enable this prior to using this third level. Now I'm going to go into my modern UX, and I'm going to go into my custom object where I have defined this 3 level, and that is the funding source. So I have the funding source. In the funding source, I have these 3 different, I have all my funding source defined that I can select. Once done so, I can click on the detail, and now I can see the 3rd level. Sorry, I can see the 2nd level. So this is my funding source is my 1st level. Funding is my 2nd level, which I can just see from right here. But if I want to see the 3rd level, I will have to go inside to my funding source. I would select the 2nd level information, go into the details, and now I can see the transaction, which is my 3rd level. So this is how I can see my 3rd level information in the modern UX. So let's go ahead and modify some of this data. As you can see, I have data created for my funding source, the funding that's coming on a monthly basis. And for each month, I have transactions created as to which day I got the credit or debit. Let's create a new value for 2021 January. The values right here will be calculated based on the transactions. So with this selected, I'm going to go into transaction. I can click on add and go through each one of these, but as you can see, it's going to be hard. So I'm going to expand this. And now the whole appears, the 3rd level appears as an expanded module where I have all the common grid functionalities available to me. I have all the different columns that's there, but at this point, I'm only concerned about the dates. This is going to be transaction on January 15. This is going to be of credit, and let's just say $1 million. Once I've populated my value, if I go into the detail, I can see that the credit is now $1 million because that's what it came. And if I refresh this page, I will see that in the grid as well. I can, of course, create another 3rd level transaction, whether it's a credit or a debit, and the same information will be available. So let's just quickly do that from this. So I'm going to, on 16th, it's going to be a debit of $10,000. And now when I do that, I see that my total amount went down by $10,000. In order for this 3rd level to be available, I have to make sure on the admin side, if I go in to my blueprint, I have to make sure that for my funding source, I include the 2nd level in my blueprint. And if I don't do that, then obviously the 3rd level will not be available to me. I can also go into the attributes where I can define the field level security. This functionality is an existing functionality. However, what you can see now is I can include or define the field level security for all 3 levels, the topmost level, the 2nd level, and then the 3rd level. All 3 of them can be defined. I can then for each one of their attributes, I can secure them and grant access for different groups. This is existing functionality, but as you can see that it can now be done for all the 3 levels of objects. That concludes the demo.